They did it. They really did it. We've got the news, and we didn't even have to wait until Cedia. We have Kaleidescape hardware news to announce. How exciting. We have the Kaleidescape Strato V. Yes, coming eminently available is a new entry into the Kaleidescape player product line. It's going to sit alongside the Strato C. We have the Kaleidescape Strato V. And I think this is the device that a lot of folks have been waiting for. I think this is a device that a lot of folks have been wanting out of Kaleidescape for some time. The kicker is that the V is a standalone unit. Yes, we are back in the days of having an all-in-one Kaleidescape ecosystem offering. The Strato V comes with an internal SSD, 960 gigabytes, enough space to hold approximately about 10 movies from the store. As I'm told, as I understand, it is a new hardware platform inside. It is a new system on a chip. Physically speaking, we're looking at a player that has pretty much the same dimensions as the existing Strato C player. There's a little bit of alteration in the I/O. There is no longer a discrete HDMI audio output. However, we are getting an upgraded HDMI 2.1 port, still running with gigabit Ethernet, optical and coaxial audio, and a USB connector as well. So you can use the disc-to-digital program with an external optical drive to get digital offers for your physical media collection and turn those into online Kaleidescape digital movie store upgrades. Maintaining the external power brick, however, the power consumption has been slashed quite a bit since the Strato C. It's going to consume roughly about half, nominally speaking, of the operational power due to hardware improvements and other efficiencies. With all of that power, with all of that capability, you will be able to download content to a Kaleidescape Strato V in 10 minutes, depending on network factors and your internet speed. But this is a huge, huge upgrade. This is a huge, huge value addition over the prior all-in-one solutions when we had the Strato S, which took on the order of 45 minutes to download a piece of content. 10-minute download is on par with the hard disk drive-based Terra servers, and I think will just completely enable the box to be usable, functional, content cycling capable, and all of that. By the time you get the family together, everybody got their snacks, their water, used the restroom, you can have chosen to have purchased and downloaded pretty much anything you wanted out of the Kaleidescape store and have it ready to play. Those download speeds, as I'm told, are also consistently available while the device is playing. So hey, if you're in the middle of your first movie and the family decides, let's go for a double header, let's go for a double feature, just pull up that Kaleidescape app, kick off another download, and that second movie will be there ready to go immediately after you finish the first one. A lot of nice integration, a lot of nice quality of life improvements. On the technical sides, the other big thing that we're looking at now, the first time that this has come to the Kaleidescape ecosystem, is Dolby Vision. The Strato V will be a Dolby Vision enabled player. So all the folks out there that have the flat panels that have contested for quite a period of time that said, only if the Kaleidescape only supported Dolby Vision, I have to have Dolby Vision, I have a TV, I want it to be using Dolby Vision. You've got it now. Strato V, Dolby Vision, baby. We'll see how Dolby Vision gets deployed to the store. They recently did a bunch of kind of store metadata augmentations and changes as well. Before, everything used to kind of just say like UHD or HDR, but now specifically they indicate HDR10, and we know why, because we'll be seeing very discrete Dolby Vision tags on the content that supports it. And again, it'll be interesting to see how widely and how quickly Dolby Vision format is deployed out to all of the content that exists in the Kaleidescape store. The Strato V will be running a modified version, a kind of a fork of sorts of KOS, essentially giving a slightly different UI. I think this makes a lot of sense. When you're limited to 10 pieces of content, the way that the current UI works, if you had just 10 movie covers repeating, I don't think that may be the most kind of optimal, say for a smallly presented content library. But I'm very excited to get my hands on it and kind of go through the entirety of the thing, show it all, blow it all out, and see what are all of the differences. I do understand that you have some additional configuration options, some settings, for example, because of this, again, the smaller available amount of content that you can keep resident. You can opt to have movies auto-delete. I think that's wise engineering and good forethought in terms of optimizing the interface and optimizing a bit of the use case, the workflow of the device to kind of fit some of the different constraints. Now, if you're using a Strato V in a standalone, all-in-one, single zone type of setup, then you're going to get that new experience. You're going to get the V-specific experience. But as soon as you add a Terra server, perhaps, if you want to add one later, you want to get more storage, you want to hold more of your library, the Strato V will actually change over to the traditional Kaleidescape UI. This is fan-freaking-tastic. It's the best, basically, of everything. We now have it, folks. We have what people have been clamoring for. An all-in-one entry point into the system, perfectly capable of playing any of the content in the Kaleidescape ecosystem. A lower entry price point. The Strato V is available for an MSRP of $3,995. So you can get that, you can get in, you can start building your library, you can use disc to digital offers and all of that sort of stuff. And if you decide at some point that you want to expand, you add the Tera, you get the experience, right? You get the full-blown movie wall experience and all of that that we're traditionally used to in the ecosystem. Not speaking hyperbole, but just looking at this holistically, this is what a lot of people have been clamoring for so long. The specifics, the logistics, the elements, how they've chosen to do this, and having some of the ecosystem integration elements and the features and capabilities that it has, I think they've really done a bang-up job with this. I hope it significantly opens up the ecosystem to a whole bunch of more folks coming in. There's one other technical element of the V I think that's worth mentioning, and that is different specifically from the Strato C, is that they've augmented the audio decoding capability. So, because they're expecting that a Strato V could be used in a living room setup, maybe in an environment where the best audio, the lossless audio, perhaps cannot be properly and always decoded, the box is capable now of playing content back in those lossless formats, but internally decoding to other applicable output formats that may work in a system. I would expect primarily what this means is like a lossless PCM decoding. This is particularly useful if you have certain brands of televisions, right, and you're inputting directly to those TVs and maybe onward to an audio system where maybe there's a lack of support for DTS or something along those lines. I know in my specific system, I've got an LG G2. I do run my existing Kaleidescape system into the television, and depending on how I have things configured, I may not get audio all of the time because the content may be encoded only in DTS, and the LG television that I have does not have a DTS encoder. Smart integration and real thoughtfulness, real intelligent engineering when it comes to how this device is expected to be used and the types of systems and system scenarios that it may fit into. So who is this for? Well, again, we're talking about on-ramping, I hope, a whole bunch of people into the Kaleidescape ecosystem with the V. We're talking about a box that's more inclined, again, to be a single zone, all-in-one type of playback scenario. More likely when you want to be able to take advantage of the Dolby Vision, when you need to be able to have that internal audio decoding, living room environments, non-projector environments. I think it's a snap for folks that maybe don't actually want to build or collect a large movie content library and are happy just using rentals in the ecosystem. Rent, download, watch, delete, and move on to the next thing. And even as it is with space for 10 movies, you could easily queue up 5 or 6, say, upcoming family favorites, upcoming movies that the family is likely to want to be able to choose from the next time they get together to watch a movie, or you yourself, right? Queue up the next 5 or 6 movies that you want to watch. Keep a favorite or 2 on there if it's something that you always want to be able to jump into a favorite scene, and you have those awesome 10-minute downloads to be able to cycle the remaining slots for movies as they come and go. It's the perfect entry point. At the same time, I think if you already have a Kaleidescape system, you're happy with it, you're happy running a Tera server, you want to keep a larger quantities of content locally, you're doing a multi-zone setup perhaps with a theater and other elements. I don't think that anybody necessarily needs to clamor to go start selling off their Cs or upgrading to a V unless you do have a living room zone and you're just completely sold on Dolby Vision as an absolute requirement, or again, the audio decoding capability enables you to actually use the hardware more capably in a zone than the Strato C potentially allowed. I've long contested here on the channel as well that if somebody was considering entering the Kaleidescape ecosystem and they either couldn't afford or didn't want to choose to spend the money to onboard at full price what the minimum entry levels had been, a good way to go historically had been to go ahead and buy a used, more than likely, ideally, a used Strato S. It's been some time since the Strato S was discontinued, and you still had been able to find them popping up on the secondary market. You had been able to buy them at a pretty decent discount, still usually in the few $1,000s range or more. And even still, they may have a year or 2 of warranty left. However, I think with the V, Kaleidescape has basically wiped any value proposition of trying to go out and find a Strato S as your entry point into the system. At effectively a $4,000 MSRP, the V is incredibly a better purchase than buying, I think at this point, a used Strato S. You go buy an older Strato S, you're looking at a 45-minute movie download versus 10. And I've had it all. I've had an original Strato, I've had a Strato S, I've had combinations of Strato Cs and Terras, and I can speak from firsthand experience that the ability to download content at or less than 10 minutes is a transformational element of the ecosystem, making it an order of magnitude or orders of magnitude better than 45. When we had 45-minute downloads, we weren't able as a family to really enjoy the platform, enjoy the system as much as we do otherwise. But when we can get movies in 10 minutes, it's fundamentally on demand, and it becomes just so much more usable. I'm super eager to get my hands on one of these. I really do want to check out the UI. If you're familiar with the channel, of course, at all, you know that I like interfaces, I like understanding usability and all that. I'm very keen to see the particulars of how they chose to design the complete Strato V standalone interface. So, if this news is exciting to you, if the advent of the Kaleidescape Strato V makes you ready now, you're ready to enter the Kaleidescape ecosystem, well, I am ready to help you out. Yes, Techthusiasm, I am an authorized, certified Kaleidescape dealer. Look no further than the guy that's been talking about Kaleidescape on YouTube in extreme, exacting, deep technical detail for over 3 years to help you out and get you onboarded into the platform. If you're interested, reach out, www.techthusiasm.net. Email me at Jeremy with an A at techthusiasm.net. We can talk, we can get you spec'd out, and we can get you running with the new Kaleidescape Strato V. In addition, if you have other home theater needs, anything along those lines, hit me up for those as well. If I can't satisfy them directly, I got a whole bunch of awesome partners that can. Shop with my affiliates, please. A bunch of links for that down in the description. Become a channel member, leave the super thanks, all of that cool stuff is always much appreciated. If you would, please do all that regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, leave a comment. This is monumental news, folks, in the Kaleidescape ecosystem. And it's going to be real interesting reading around on the interwebs coming up following this announcement. I really want to know what you think about it. And welcome, an early welcome to all the folks that have been holding out, sitting on the fence, and will soon be joining the awesomeness of being in the Kaleidescape ecosystem. Thanks so much for watching. Look for a whole lot more discussion about this coming up. We'll absolutely be talking about it on a live. And as I learn more, I will have the content here for you as soon as humanly possible. Thanks so much for watching. Come on back for more home theater discussion and fun.